else knows it, but did you see the name of that new character in Hot Dogs, Horseshoes, and Hand Grenades, by the way? Yeah. I want to talk about that.
Go ahead and talk about it, because since we're on,
Okay.
Oh, neat. So flaccid steak.
He's probably. I hate that character so much because it's so hard to play.
Yeah.
But because you don't get a weapon.
Yeah.
You can't take a weapon away from somebody.
You have to kill them first.
I don't know how you do that though. They don't give you a weapon.
Basically,
They don't even give you the box.
From what I saw on the dev blog, you have to like go into one of the weapon procurement rooms or whatever, and like grab one of the boxes and beat one of the sausages.
Beat a guy to death.
That's how you get your first weapon.
Wow.
Yeah. Or I don't know if you don't think you can punch. You have to have some kind of item in your hand.
Yeah. You can't punch him outright. Although the new grapple gun's pretty hilarious. You can kill people with the grapple gun.
Yes.
I really wish though that you could bind it to 2 walls so you could trap a sausage from crossing the point. Yeah. I think that should be,
or at least make it like a tripwire or something.
Right.
Where if they do try to cross it, they fall over.
That'd be super neat.
I have no idea.
I like that. Yeah.
Okay,
what
so
the fuck is going on?
So there's a game called Hot Dogs, Horseshoes, and Hand Grenades,
Mhm.
and it's basically a weapon simulator.
Yeah.
He's pretty much put just about damn near every weapon imaginable into that game, real and not real.
Right. I've seen you look at his dev blogs.
Oh yeah, and so I mean it's one guy, Anton Hand, who's a great developer.
Yeah.
Honestly, he takes so much time and care to put in things, both ridiculous and otherwise. Like there's a plunger gun which you now that you can shoot on the wall, but you can climb that now, and that's like one of the new updates. So you can like create your own ladder to climb cliffs and whatnot.
Yep.
So it's really interesting. I was just playing it today.
I was playing it yesterday. Whenever I had mentioned that.
Yeah, but they introduced a new character into the game mode called Take and Hold, which is an objective-based game where you go to a point, you achieve the objective, and shoot targets in order to hack the system. And all the bad guys are sausages, walking hot dogs. So it makes it
Less
But
violent.
are
Kid
they,
friendly?
but are they Costco brand hot dogs?
No, they're not 14 inches long, practically.
I mean, they're 6 foot tall, so
They are 6 foot tall, but they're called sausages.
Yeah. But it makes it less graphic, so that way when they explode and you like chunk them up from like explosives, it doesn't. It's not like bloody or gory. It's just like haha, ground up hot dog.
They have a full-blown zombies mode too. Like you go around achieving objectives and they have quests and stuff like that. It's actually really fun.
Are they actual zombie hot dogs, or are they like thrown up hot dogs?
They're
Like rotten. They're green.
yeah, they're like zombie hot dogs. They're
So rotten and green, so like thrown up hot dogs.
kinda. They're
like a hot dog you've left out in the sun for just a little too long.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're kind of wrinkly in some places. Yeah.
But they
It's okay. It happens to everyone eventually.
the take and hold mode, that game mode, it's they added, it's basically like a Metal Gear Solid theme to it. So you start off with, they're called dings. It's like a pack of cigarettes, but instead of cigarettes, they're little sausages that you can eat to heal yourself.
Oh,
then,
that's for.
And you have no weapons. You have to find a weapon, and so you have to sneak around. And the enemies look like they have they're stylized like the Metal Gear Solid enemies and stuff like that. And the bosses, the first boss is it's not Revolver Ocelot, but it looks a lot like him. They probably have some other clever name.
Oh God, I'd want to know what
Revolver.
their names are.
I
now.
want to know what it is like right now.
Revolver looks a lot like Ocelot. That made more sense in my head.
Revolver sauce a lot.
I'm just
It's the
gonna.
only thing I can think of. I'm sure Anton covered it in his dev blog probably. So.
He didn't say what it was.
There's still a quest that nobody's solved in the zombies section. If you go into the church and you go into the basement, there's like a really hidden maze, and there's all these old Roman sausages that's down there.
Right. Yeah.
They're nearly unkillable.
I remember going down there and running away.
You get wrecked real quick. But I found the most effective thing is if you complete it, if you're doing it legit and you're not doing it through arcade mode, you could you have to unlock the riot shield from the sheriff, and then you have to unlock the chainsaw from the power tools guy. And that seems to be the most effective thing because you don't run out of ammo. You can block their little sword hits, and then like you have to hit them at the neck in order to kill them. It's like they're actually really difficult, high HP enemies to kill. But the whole quest is that you have to find these little shakers that make noises, and solve this riddle on the wall of a bunch of screaming. And it's really indecipherable. But you have to like walk through this maze of nearly unkillable enemies, trying to pick up these little shakers, and sometimes you get animals. And sometimes you get people who just yell, and you have to take the people that yell and organize them on this pedestal, all while fighting these nearly unkillable dudes. It's really difficult.
I'm surprised nobody's solved that yet.
I am too, because I've went to Reddit and I've searched for this multiple times, and
Nothing.
literally Anton goes and deletes them. So
Well,
Just
like-
gotta find a Reddit that he's not a mod on, I guess.
So-
But still,
yeah. So like whenever I was playing Elite, they released a video, and these fucking weirdos that play that goddamn game somehow figured out that there was a code hidden in the audio that you couldn't hear or see, and pulled it out and deciphered the code to start off this fucking mystery thing.
I full on blame Five Nights at Freddy's for doing that, by the way. Like, I believe wholly that they started the internet sleuth train to find out clues and context, because
Yeah.
the developer for that, which Scott Cawthorn.
Scott
Cawthorn.
Cawthorn, yeah. That's it.
He hid so much clues into the data. Like, he knew that people were going to tear it apart, so he just started putting in a bunch of stuff. And I mean, literally it created like the biggest internet phenomenon of what's the real story of Five Nights at Freddy's.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, now he's sold the franchise off.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, either he has or he's going to. But he's getting out. He's actually leaving it to the next generation of horror developers. That's his whole plan.
Oh, all right. More power to
How
him.
old's he? Like 32.
He's made a fuck ton of money.
Yeah.
I mean, he could retire and never do anything again, probably.
which is
I think-
probably what he's doing, but like just doing just passion projects.
Yeah.
I think the most hilarious thing to me is that he made, like, I don't know if you guys know about like what he did before Five Nights at Freddy's. He started making like
Wasn't
family-
like church games.
yeah,
or
it was like
something that.
family
Yeah.
friendly Christian themed games, and everybody was like, "Oh, well, you know, these are really boring and stupid and dumb, and you're dumb." So I'm like, so he's like, "All right, fine, I'll just make something freaking terrifying and revolutionize the horror video game genre." While he was at it.
The best part is he used the assets from those games.
Oh, I forgot about
the
that. Yeah,
Fazbear, like
Yeah.
Freddy Fazbear is like all the animatronics are from those like family friendly games. One of the critiques was like they were too scary or creepy looking, and he's like,
Oh
okay,
yeah.
okay, I can deal with this. I can deal with
That's
this.
like, have you guys ever? I'm assuming you guys have heard of what's it called? Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Yeah,
Yeah, same kind of thing.
No.
Like the people that made like Donkey Kong Country and Banjo Kazooie, like it's the same kind of vibe as like people were criticizing them for making all of these like weird kiddie family friendly games, and they're like, okay, we're just gonna make the most vulgar, horrifying video game we can think of. Have you never heard of Conker's Bad Fur Day?
No.
There's literally one of the bosses is an opera singing pile of shit. And you defeat him by lobbing toilet paper at him.
Yep.
It's like the most crass like middle school toilet humor video
great.
game
Yep.
you could
That's
possibly think
great.
of.
You
Yeah.
are a squirrel,
Yeah.
and you can piss on things.
Mhm.
There is a scene where there is a sunflower that has enormous tits.
You need those enormous tits because I think they bounce you up to an area of the level that you can only access by jumping on them.
Yes, they give you a jump boost.
Yeah.
So that just sets the theme for that game.
In 64, by the the So
Well, N64 was a pioneer of like the
There is a
Leisure Suit Larry.
But oh yeah,
That's
Well,
fair. That's
speaking of which, I did see a
Nintendo
copy
64?
of
Yeah.
Conker's Bad Fur Day today at that same flea
Oh,
market.
did you?
Yeah,
That's
Say, Leisure
incredible.
Suit Larry's been around long before N64.
I feel like it was around on like
No, it was
Windows
N64,
95,
wasn't
something
it?
like that.
It used to be a computer game that was
Yeah.
like point and click adventure.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like Police Squad or Police Force, whatever it was.
Yeah. All those.
Well, I feel like that's when it gained prominence, though, because it was a full 3D game at that point.
Was it really on
Mhm.
N64? Leisure Suit Larry made N64. Wow.
Yep.
I had no idea.
Obviously heavily edited.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
No,
Yeah, I remember
no,
those computer
It was
games.
pretty rough.
On the N64, like it was pretty like over the top for an N64 game, but like they still toned it down a lot.
Oh, I'm sure.
But
That was when Nintendo broke out and was like, "Hey, let's make it something else." And then they started putting all sorts of games, like a Resident Evil 2 port
Mm-hmm.
came to
That's right, they did.
Nintendo 64.
Perfect Dark.
Perfect
fir-
Dark was fun.
The first Perfect Dark, not the second.
The
one.
original. Yeah, well, it was original
Yeah.
Nintendo release anyway.
I remember that
Yeah.
game was hard.
Yeah. Perfect Dark, was that Rareware? They made Perfect Dark?
Remember.
I don't remember.
I don't
It
know.
was-
Perfect Dark is one that I've always heard
Mhm.
is like really, really great, and I've just never sat down and played it. So
Yep, it's a really good game, but you have to play the N64 version because apparently they
I know the
Butchered.
sequel is bad. So
The
Yeah.
sequel is bad, and the sequel is bad because it's not a Perfect Dark. They go like a completely different direction with the story,
Mhm.
and it was just like, okay, well, you don't get your alien.
Yeah,
buddy
it was
to help you
it was
out.
made by Rare,
Was it?
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I thought.
and it debuted in 2000, which seems so. It seems
shut
almost
up.
too.
it doesn't
No,
seem long
no.
ago, but it was.
Well, it just seems like for the Nintendo 64, it just seems like sooner. Like it should have been like in the 90s, but I guess
know,
it is
yeah.
in 2000.
That was like towards like the very end of the
Well, that was-
N64's life
and-
cycle, because like the GameCube came out in like what 01, 02?
That must have been it.
yeah, and it took advantage of the booster pack. I remember that.
Yeah.
Well,
The
everything
one-
had to in order to have
the one that you
16.
didn't even
it was
know
the
what
16
the
or
hell it
32.
did.
It just added more RAM. That's
Yeah,
all it did.
It's just extra RAM.
Well, welcome to the Maximum DACA video game podcast, apparently. I'm James.
I'm Will.
I'm Cal.
I'm Phil.
I'm wondering why it took us this long to get into our intro.
Well, because we were talking and it was great, okay? So I just let it go.
Maximum
Caleb.
Dakka
Hi.
Reloaded.
So continuing on with our conversation.
Yeah, totally broke the flow. Thanks.
Yeah.
Well,
Thanks.
that's okay, because MechWarrior 5 has been super great with some new additional mods that gave engine capabilities and all sorts of other customization.
Yeah, I'm hoping that they don't break that again on Thursday. I really hope they don't break it again on Thursday.
With the
but
new
I know
expansion. Dude, what's the expansion called?
they will. The Heroes
Heroes of the
or,
something
or no, the
Lancers, wasn't it?
Kestrel
not-
Lancers.
That's it. Kestrel
Oh, is
Lancers.
it?
Yeah.
Is it actually more DLC?
Yeah,
Mhm.
so,
On
so we were
Thursday.
going to talk about this
See,
and make you
I
sad
just learned
because you're not going to
Sunday
be able
as
to play it.
Yeah, I
We actually talked about, though, if you wanted to bring over your computer and we could LAN party it. I have gigabit.
that makes me so happy.
So-
That makes me so for our wonderful viewers who have no idea. The long story short, I got married recently. I moved into a temporary house while they're renovating the place that me and my wife are gonna be renting. And then they found out that like half the foundation and like the floor joists were rotted, so they've literally basically been rebuilding half of this house. We've been in like a temporary house with no internet for like going on 6 weeks now, and it sucks.
Yeah, fuck that.
So yeah, no.
Yeah.
So I've not had time to like try much of anything as far as like MechWarrior 5 goes. So
Well, and we can just do have everybody come in and do a LAN party, because like my computer's out in the main living room, James is in his bedroom. We can put somebody in the kitchen or whatever, and then one of y'all two play remote.
Mm-hmm. Whoever
Play
wants to
remote,
play
that's
remote.
fine.
Yeah,
I like my house.
Yeah.
I don't like your house.
That's okay.
Your girlfriend's there.
That's true.
She's terrible.
James doesn't
Now
like
it's on the
sharing,
internet.
is what it is.
It's on the internet. Cassie, I hope you watch this.
But no, I really hope they don't break that on Thursday. I really, really don't, because it took them a while. It took them a while to get those mods back out, because they only came out like
Yet another mech lab.
I think they only came out like July or January 1st.
August.
I
was
know-
the last one that was updated, because he did 3 mods, or he has a bunch of mods, because he has yet another Mac lab, yet another weapon pack, yet another clan weapons.
I think it was July 1st though, whenever he released the yet another Mech Lab mod.
Yeah, but there's not really been any updates since then.
Right, but what I'm saying is it took from like August to July to get that mod, so there was a significant. I don't want to go that long without those mods, because they make that game really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say they actually make that game playable.
I don't. Know,
I mean,
I
for as much
don't know
as
why
as-
PGI did that.
As much as Cal didn't complained initially, and then he was like, "Oh, this is cool."
I mean, they were.
Yeah, I hated. I mean, like I sincerely hate MechWarrior 5, but like the mods and playing it together.
Yeah, well, it's
I
a
love that.
fun multiplayer game.
Yeah,
I mean,
it is.
there's two different versions of MechWarrior 5. There's a single player, which is
Yeah.
really, it's kind of like, there's really not that great of a story there. And then there's the multiplayer, which is like really fun.
I will.
That's a very similar thing to. Never mind. I can't mention that, or we'll get banned by a certain company that doesn't like people talking about their things online. Never mind.
Oh, Games Workshop.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, well,
There's
Vermintide-
one of their Space Marine games that like
Vermintide is, I think, the last.
That's the
it's
newest one.
The newest one of Vermintide, because I think it's Vermintide 2 was really fun with people. But
Vermintide.
Vermintide, yeah.
Yeah.
anyway. Topic change.
it's-
Cal, go.
I don't know.
Great choice. Punching mechs. Let's talk about that.
Punching mechs. So this will be the first game they've added punching mechs into.
I am stoked for this.
I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be wonky, and I think it's going to be goofy, and I'm going to completely embrace that.
As long as, do you remember when MechWarrior Online was in its beta and they had like mech tripping, and basically you could just you could be in a light mech and just trip an awesome, and that's how you win. Because like you could collide with a mech, and I don't know exactly how it worked, but like if you ran into a mech at too high of a speed, you would like bump into it and fall over, and people in light mechs started using that to their advantage to like knock over assault mechs and just swarm them like a Zerg rush.
That sounds amazing.
That does sort
Oh
of.
man, it was that's when they only had like 4 mechs in like early beta, like just before launch for MechWarrior
Yeah.
Online. So what was that, like 2013, 2014?
2014, yeah.
Because they ported MechWarrior Online off of their MechWarrior 5, which they released that trailer for, and everybody was super stoked, and it never happened.
Yeah.
Thanks, Harmony Gold.
Yeah.
And then they ported that over to MechWarrior Online, which is still a fun game.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I actually still have whatever it's called, premium time, that I've not redeemed from like the
Probably.
founders package that I bought into.
Yeah. Did you get in? Did you get golden mechs for that?
No, it was like a special paint job and some kind of special variant of, you could pick a Jinner, a Hunchback, a Catapult.
Yeah, the golden mechs came a little
Yeah,
bit.
That was
was
like Clan Invasion.
Yeah, that was the
Yeah.
whales. Like
Yeah.
people that spent like $1,000 on the fucking
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
Which I can't say
It's
anything
just-
about.
Do you have any golden mech streams?
I don't, but I have lots of big ships.
Different games. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at my Star Citizen, how much I've spent on that, and it's like, oh, what have I done? Could have had a new kidney or something. but yeah, punching mechs though, that's going to be really interesting. I am excited about this linear story too. They're supposedly adding a linear story. So it's like 14 or 16
I think
missions.
you said 14 missions.
Was it 14
shoot.
missions?
I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to that.
That'd be
Really
pretty
am.
neat.
Yeah, it's all during the Succession War, the Fourth Succession War, so it'll be pretty cool. And then
You're talking like pre or post Renaissance. I'm neckbearding right now. I'm sorry.
It's
it's
3028.
Okay.
It is
3028.
literally about a unit in the Fourth Succession War. It starts sometime just after Hans and Melissa
get married. I love the fact that that trailer that they released, they embrace the art style of BattleTech,
Yeah.
because that
I
is
love that art
I'm
style.
sorry, but BattleTech developers don't have a lot of money. PGI doesn't have a lot of money. They don't have a lot of developers, even though they've been bought out by who? G2A. It was something with somebody like that. I think they got bought out by like G2A. But anyways, even still, they don't have a lot of money. That is a glorious way to tell a story on a low budget.
Yeah.
Because BattleTech only had like, I mean, their fundraiser only went up to like $5 or $10 million, or was it $2 million?
I think it was
I don't know.
like just shy of 2 million. I think.
Was it?
Yeah, something like that.
All I know is that game is fun and the art is just
Yeah,
awesome.
It's
fantastic.
It's very unique, but I don't know. I agree. It's just
I think the best part about that whole video game is the intro. Every time I launch it, I just sit through it. I mean, John Everest like soundtrack. John Everest, his soundtracks are great, especially for that game. But man, something about that opening song with that art, I think it's just awesome.
I love it because you can totally like pull that up on YouTube and like every 3 seconds pause it and just explain now what's happening here is. And just piss off everybody you're showing it to.
Well, and I love that they show like the thrones with the mechs behind them, and even in the periphery, it's like, man, that is BattleTech, that is cool, and it has nothing to do with the fucking clans. So,
well, BattleTech is cool and was cool before the clans.
Yeah, I mean the clans added a whole lot to it, but the clan Way of Honor just, I just can't get through it.
Here's the question though: is how much longer do you think they'll come out with a new MechWarrior game before we get to clans?
I hope they just introduce them.
Right into this game as a
because
DLC.
we're at the Fourth Succession War. The only real, I mean, there's a few things that happen between there, but I don't really think anything game worthy, right?
I mean, it depends on like what do you really consider game worthy? I mean, look at Vengeance. Like the MechWarrior 4 Vengeance, right? I mean, you're talking about some planet that isn't like super critical in Federated Sun space, right? Well, Commonwealth space, and you have this story play out where somebody who's loyal to the Archon starts like throwing down on the planet.
Yeah, but
right?
there's still.
But I mean, there's like a ton of that stuff. I mean, like I know we joke around about it, especially because of how much rape is in the book series. But I mean, the Black Dragon trilogy. I mean, shit. There's a video game right there. You know, like, what do you really consider video game worthy?
Well, I mean, more like MechWarrior 4 took place during the Civil War.
Yeah.
Right. So, while it's a story on the sidelines of the Civil War, it still had this overarching to do with Civil War. So there's really not an actual event really game worthy in between the Fourth Succession War and the Clan Invasion.
Oh God, the War of 3039 is probably all I can really think about.
Yeah, which they might do, they might not. I don't know. We'll
Just
see.
to delay things so they don't have to go any further.
But I mean, they already have the well, I don't say the majority, but they have a lot of clan mechs already. You know, they've got them rigged and everything. All they have to do is convert them over to what are they using?
Unreal.
Yeah.
Is it Unreal 4?
I think it's Unreal 4, Unreal 5, or some shit like that. So all they'd have to do is convert them over. So I mean, that's probably the logical path that they'll go. I would assume that the next DLC we'll have will be start of the Clan Invasion, or it may, instead of being a DLC, it may just be a full-on expansion because there's going to be a lot of content there.
Yeah, which
I could see them doing. But and then what else? We're getting cities.
Yeah, some of the new terrains. Ooh. Sound pretty exciting. Full on urban combat. I know you're down with that.
Full on mega city, completely destructible, procedurally generated.
Well, okay, you say completely destructible, like
Probably,
is it actually completely destructible,
no,
or is it like
I'm gonna say there'll
like
be
what
a
we're
core?
Seeing. Yeah,
okay.
Probably what we're seeing right now on like the destruction.
I will say that is one thing that makes me like
demolition.
A little disappointed. And I know MechWarrior 4 was the same, but like I'm a little disappointed you can't actually like level a building.
Yeah,
you just take down like the outer shell.
You just take like down the outer shell, and there's just a spray of bodies as you shoot a building, which is an interesting design choice.
But jet fuel doesn't melt steel beams.
I would also like to drop buildings on mechs. I think that would be fun.
Oh yeah,
I feel like we're touching on a conspiracy theory over here.
No, I thought that'd be a funny joke.
What is it?
Jet fuel doesn't melt steel beams. That's why you can't take them down.
Yeah.
Moving
sure,
on.
PPC can.
PPC could, I'm sure, but
PPC can't melt steel beams.
Oh no, fucking meme world. We're also getting swamp biomes and tourmaline desert as well.
Ooh,
Jungles.
all right,
jungles.
We're getting jungles.
Yeah,
I know.
So if you hate trees now, just wait.
I don't hate trees actually.
I hate trees.
I love trees.
Well, yeah, I just hate
in
the
that
way
game.
that they
It's
did
just
the trees.
everything gets in the way of them.
Trees in MechWarrior 4 because of that reason right there. I love trees in MechWarrior 4 because it doesn't matter like what you're shooting. I mean, is it a Gauss rifle? Is it a PPC?
Doesn't matter.
Is it a small laser? It hit a tree. It doesn't fucking hit me.
Yeah,
It
wood,
doesn't-
wood is the best armor.
It doesn't matter in MechWarrior 5 either.
I love trees.
My favorite thing is like when you're tracking somebody and then you go over a tree and then your bullets just deflect into like an X formation.
Yeah,
because-
like your targeting reticle converges on the tree, so all your weapons fire at that arc instead
Yeah.
of towards what you were originally aiming at.
yeah, that's so much fun.
It's terrible.
Dear PGI, please redo your targeting. Weapon convergence on the target instead of what's under the reticle, please.
And higher YAML.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's something that should have happened like right away, I feel like.
Yeah, and yeah. We're also getting some new scenarios. There's battle scenarios now, so I'm assuming it's going to be like full on war like that one mission that we did.
Oh, that one
to
was
get
fun.
Get
yeah.
the king crab,
Uh-huh.
the CR. God, that was such a great mission. That was just a full on fucking war though that we got dropped into.
Yeah.
God, that was great.
That was a very fun mission. That because that was the first night I think you and I played.
That
We
was-
did that mission.
No,
Was it not?
no,
It was
I
the
could've-
kaiju, right?
We did.
that was the car.
Oh.
We did some mission when you and I first played online. With the first time I played with you online, and it was rough, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that mission came with the latest DLC, the Heroes of the
Oh,
Hemisphere.
okay.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
then it
that-
must have been. Yeah,
I think
yeah,
that
you're
was.
right.
I
You're
think
right.
that was the one where I was in an Annihilator with like
Mhm.
4 LB-10X, and I was just tanking all of those mortar rounds to the face.
Mm-hmm. We were trying to get those damn things down too, but then you look and there's like a company of mechs on one side and a company of mechs on the other, and then armor, and that was glorious. That was a fun mission.
See, that's the thing is, the solo game for MechWarrior 5 I think is atrocious. I hate it. It's a slog. You have to grind your way.
Well,
up,
and the AI
it's
is
just-
horrible.
I hate it. Like I really do hate it. But
I
I really like the multiplayer because I feel like it's like the stuff that I loved about MechWarrior 4. I loved the solo gameplay. I didn't really care for the online gameplay because I mean it's basically MechWarrior Online, right? Like that's what it is. There's no real point to it other than just kill the other people. But with MechWarrior 5, you know, you have this like terrible solo game, but the multiplayer game, you still get to play those missions. You still have those objectives. Yeah, it sucks that you grind through them, but hey, I mean, when you're like throwing back a glass of scotch and you're online with a few friends, you know, it's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm really glad that they added co-op in there.
Yeah, me too. But I'm really excited for that linear story play and see what happens.
Really wish BattleTech was like big enough to get an MMO.
But my MechWarrior Online.
That's not an MMO. that's 4 maps and competitive play. Get that out of here.
Phil's over here playing with a tape measure under the table.
Nothing's happened.
Oh man,
We're also getting garrison duty in that.
that sounds
mean-
boring.
Sounds boring. May not be. It's probably just like
A
probably
defense.
they're probably just like dressing up defense. They're like, oh, it's garrison duty.
I was gonna say that's probably all it is. It's still just as fucking boring. Yeah, like oh, you gotta just stand guard there. We're getting attacked. Oh, surprise! I've done this 100 times now.
Yeah. They're just like pulling a bait and switch on you.
Yeah.
Nobody's playing our defense mission, so we'll just call it something else.
We're just going to be
Let's
completely
just add more defense missions and call them something else.
Yeah.
I just imagine like, all right, we're gonna post you out here, and then you just wait, and you're waiting for the attack, and they're like, mission success. I'm like, I did nothing.
And
A mech comes up to you and says like, "All right, you're relieved."
and you negotiate like 40 salvage shares.
Put everything into salvage.
I was say you put everything into insurance just in case. Like,
Yeah.
"Ah, damn it.
Yeah.
It's one of those missions where like you max out everything and you
Yeah.
have like 40 something and you only have like 800,000.
And you get like a medium laser
Yeah.
and it's your medium laser that got knocked off because you ran into a building.
Fucking trees.
God damn it.
Oh man.
What else is coming with that damn DLC?
I'm trying to remember offhand.
Oh, there's a bunch of shit.
I still side with you. Your complaint last Sunday about how let's introduce melee into it, but let's not put a hatchet man in there. Oh, that was what you were saying.
I'm a little annoyed still
Yeah.
because it's like this is the perfect opportunity to make a hatchet man.
Yeah.
To add those mechs that have the melee functionality
Yeah.
built around them. Yeah.
And then, but on top of that, it's like, okay, you're already doing the mechanic of punching. It's not hard to make an animation. I'm guessing that's already conducive to melee attacks. You know, so I just, you know, imagine putting swords on something like a fire starter and just running in and shredding people.
Mm-hmm.
Because fire starters in that game can be can be really fast, especially with the mods that we have.
Yeah.
Because like if you throw a really high caliber engine in it, you know.
Which that's what we were talking about just a little earlier in this podcast was I don't know why PGI decided to do it that way. Like they've got MWO, which has awesome customization.
Mhm.
They kept saying that they wanted it to be more like MechWarrior 2, but the customization options are more like MechWarrior 4, except you can't upgrade your speed, you can't upgrade your engine, you can't do any of that cool shit.
Yeah.
That just upsets me.
they were probably looking to monetize it later on.
Maybe.
I mean, but based on what? I mean, like even let's say they're you know, we've had 2 other DLCs, right? So we just have the one,
Just the
Heroes of Inner Spear. So now we're getting, you know, Kestrel
Lancers.
Lancers, and so I feel like it's just kind of an opportunity that's a little missed.
Yeah, it's definitely something on their part that they probably should have done, but then they're like, modders are taking care of that.
Yeah, and fucking every time they come out with either a patch or an expansion or DLC or whatever, they break the fucking mods, and it's like, please just stop.
That's just an
breaking the
inevitability,
mods.
though. I mean, they're gonna update their game, and the rule of thumb is modders have, you know, for people that do mod, they have to go and update it to make sure it's compatible or to make whatever changes they need. Sometimes they get lucky; they don't have to make any changes.
I don't remember what the first patch that they came out with, but I remember there was a ton of mods at that point, and they only fixed like one thing, and I think it was like an animation was broken. They broke all of the mods, and it's like, how? I don't get it. But
99 bugs of coding.
yeah,
Break when you fix one, and then you create like 1,000 more.
Yeah, 1,000 more. Yeah,
Yeah.
unfortunate. The other thing, they updated Cyberpunk.
Yeah, so I had a literal ADHD binge of video games today because I just couldn't find one that was satisfying my fix. And so, like, I started off this morning, I beat both Pistol Whip campaigns, which they just added a new DLC, which is Smoke and Thunder. Super fun. You get super shotguns, but they're only 2 shot apiece, so you're reloading like a madman. But I played that. I played Hot Dogs, Horseshoes, and Hand Grenades. I played Call of Duty for the zombies, which they still have not fucking fixed the bug in it, and it really annoys my stuff. Because you can apply blueprints to guns, so you can go into like your armory, make your custom gun, and then in zombies, if you pull a gun out of the box or off a wall, you can just go into the menu and change it to the custom gun that you made, so that if you go through all the work of unlocking all these attachments, you should get those attachments. And that's directly from the developer themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Except that every time I do it, I have like a 1 in 5 chance of just the gun bugging out. And it'll give me a completely different blueprint. Not one that I've ever made.
Okay.
Or have. Because you can buy blueprints.
Mm-hmm.
Which that's the way to like unlock stuff early without having to work for it. That's their pay-to-win model, by the way. And I'm guilty of buying a bunch of it. But on top of that, it'll give you the same gun, but blank.
Mm-hmm.
Locked in a slot, and you can't upgrade it. You can't do anything with it. And it just breaks your entire inventory. So it's been really annoying because I love playing zombies, but I love playing solo. I don't like playing with other people because I'm lazy. Because coordination is effort, and
Yeah.
and I don't want to have to worry about some dude going down, and I have to rush across the map to save him, only to find out that he's been trailing like 50 zombies. I'm like, okay, well now I got to deal with that before I can res you. Guess you're dying. And then they're like, why didn't you pick me up, bro? And it's like, no, I'm not putting up with that today. I've done most of the Easter eggs by myself at this point.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, thankfully for guides, I didn't have to do it, blind, because no, I'm not doing that. I've almost beat the newest map, and then Outbreak is just a monster because you're playing on like full blown like Warzone maps, and there's just no way you can go do any of that. But yeah, TLDR, I just couldn't settle on a game, so I booted up Cyberpunk, and they've fixed like the majority of all the bugs. I mean, about 1 year later, right?
A lot of the fun bugs are still there. They're
Well,
like calling all of your vehicles at one time and then walking over to it, they still explode out of each other. So
that's a feature.
that's a feature, not a bug.
That's a
yeah.
feature now. It's not a
hate
bug.
that. I hate that feature thing. I really do.
I'm-
There's some bugs in MW5 that like irritate me. I don't know. Maybe an unpopular opinion, but I like the BattleTech stuff because I like the immersion. I like to immerse myself in it. So when I've got like VTOLs that like are like suffering fucking epileptic seizures,
Well, and
seizures
most
and-
of that has to do with the way that they've done the multiplayer, because it's not
It's the netcode, I think,
it's
yeah.
not server based, it's peer to peer.
Okay.
So that's just
Yeah, I've never seen it
your
on
computer not catching up with my computer.
It's
Some
yeah,
of-
because
some
the
of
host
it,
is
yeah,
whoever the worst
but-
is, and usually me and James are not the worst.
You still have your enemy mechs that like the way they ragdoll, and that's not an
No.
online thing.
That's a
That's
physics
that's
engine.
exactly. I
Yeah.
mean, it's when something gets shot and goes down, and then skyrockets into orbit.
Oh my god, that's my
You
favorite
know.
thing to see is an Igor get shot and it just takes off like a fucking VTOL rocket.
I mean, yeah, I guess it's kind of funny, but like, I don't know. For me, I just don't really care. For
I'd rather it not land on me because
have,
you
like-
do take damage from that.
that one interview where the developers are just like yeah, it was a bug, but we're gonna leave it in there because we think the players are gonna enjoy it. And it's like, I fucking hate it. Oh well,
Yeah.
whatever.
Speaking of game like immersion and then like game ADHD, I've been playing Red Dead Redemption 2 a lot lately, to the point where I'm like, I've got to pace myself because like the only other game that's like this is the first one, which okay, yeah, I want to play the first one again too, because it's chronologically the second one takes place before the first one. It's a prequel. And I want to go through and play the first one again, but like there's not many games out there that are really like the Red Dead Redemption series, and right now I've just got, I don't know, I've got a, it's gonna sound weird, I've got a cowboy boner going on right now, and I just want to make sure that I fulfill that and get that all taken care of, because it's such a good game.
Something that you mentioned that brings up a really good topic I want your guys' opinion on is I'm one of those guys that if I play a game that's in a series, I have to go play the other games first in order to like chronological. I'm a completionist in that aspect. So there's good game series which I can go and play over and over again, like Halo. I could go play that. Assassin's Creed, I could go play like from the beginning and get through the main story. If I don't get distracted too much, I can get through that pretty quick. But then there are a series of games which I cannot do because it's so bad.
The Witcher.
The Witcher is really bad. The Witcher, of everything, it's not even that the storyline was bad. The storyline was fine. The game is literally unplayable.
It is very difficult to get through the first one. The second one is okay. The third one is great. But
I own both the second and the third one, and I cannot bring myself to play them because I want to play through the first one. But it's not even, again, it's not even game. It's not even mechanics. It's the fact that it just won't run on anything.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't run well on its original platform, and when they ported it, and they literally ported it to PC,
yeah,
and it doesn't run well.
Yeah,
Everything that I've researched, it's like you could throw it in compatibility mode, you could lock it at 30 frames, you could lock it at 24 frames, you could do all this stuff to it, and it just won't. It'll crash randomly. It just like
Yeah.
breaks my heart.
I had a lot of trouble with that one because the story was like, it's like, okay, I'm playing a game where you are a monster hunter, and the entirety of Witcher 2 is all about like politics in royal situations and shit. I'm like, I just want to kill this fucking.
But that's probably a
Monster.
euphemism for people being more monster-like than
and
monsters.
that's the thing. That's the
Yeah.
joke they go with.
Well, that's the whole Witcher thing.
Yeah, but like, it's still. I would much rather be going after
You might as well use silver blades on them.
these really interesting monsters and creatures than I would killing these like bandits and stuff. But like the bandits, sure, they're fun to fight. It's a nice change of pace. But the way you fight the monsters, it's like a different method for each one. You have to prepare for it. That whole aspect of it was amazing. It was great. And then it's like, cool people. They just send like 30 of them at me at once.
Well, and one of the major problems with The Witcher 1 was you've got an indie developer at that time, which was CD Projekt Red. They were an indie developer.
Right.
I'm not sure what they had done other than The Witcher 1 at that point, but they were trying to make a AAA game on an indie budget, and it doesn't work. My favorite story about CD Projekt Red was they took The Witcher 1 to E3 one year, and they wouldn't even give them like a booth or whatever. So they had it set up on like like an old Dell fucking PC with like a CRT monitor in the snack room or break room on like they've got pictures of us like on this little rickety table. And then the next year 2 years later, they came back and had like a whole fucking panel with like The Witcher 2 and shit. It was like, well, you guys sure
Rags
did
to
miss
riches.
yeah, rags to riches there. And then they released it.
You remember when everybody was trying to sue them for
Cyberpunk?
For Cyberpunk?
I think they
What happened?
still
What's
are.
happened to that?
They're still under.
Yeah. Well,
It's funny because the game's fixed now.
Mhm.
Like, I mean,
they've had several, like their lead developer stepped down, their CEOs
it's
left the company
politics,
because of it.
man.
Yeah.
Don't pre-order video games, children.
Yeah, that should be your number one.
I mean, that's the
Advice
thing
from
is, I didn't even ever pre-order it. Like, I bought it when it came out. I played through the whole thing with minimal bugs.
Oh, I
nothing
loved it.
was game breaking. The voice acting was like phenomenal, and the storyline is mind blowing. Like, it doesn't matter what ending you choose. The first thing that I actually got salty over, but it was still a very good ending. It was
Yeah.
still well written. I got salty because that's not the ending I wanted for my character. And then I went back and played through it, and then I got the ending that I wanted for my character. There's still a whole nother ending that I need to go on. I actually have 2 endings left, and so I started a new clean playthrough today.
Nice.
I can't. I tried doing the Street Kid. I can't. I have to do Nomad. That's just how I have to do it because it's such a good. I gotta go woo Pan Am, okay?
I liked Corpo. I really did. See, I was on the same boat. I didn't have a problem with that game like at all. And you just see people so upset about the story and how badly it was written. I was like, I don't know what game you played.
The
but
biggest problem that people had, and rightfully so, was on consoles. Specifically, I think it was PlayStation 4.
And Xbox 3 and
And
Xbox One.
and Xbox
And here's
One.
the thing though, and
I
this
get
is
that.
this is a tried and true thing. Corporate pushovers were like, you need to release it on last gen, and they were like, no, it won't work.
Yep.
And then they were like, well, do it anyway. And of course, those don't fucking work. But if you did it on the Xbox One X, and then the PlayStation 5, it worked just fine because
Yeah.
that's what it was designed for. You keep putting shit on last gen consoles, you're gonna get last gen results.
Yeah, they had to port it. It wasn't their choice. It wasn't the developer's choice. It was the CEO or the business, the suits.
Yeah.
It was their choice to do it, and
I mean, in all
screwed 'em
things though, you always
a while.
port up. You never port down. I mean,
yeah, you never want to try to fit a Ferrari engine into a potato. If you want to have fun, you can try making like a nice looking Ferrari and like, look, it runs on a potato engine. But you're never going to get a Ferrari engine to run on a potato. So.
yeah, my biggest problem with it, I had some bugs, but my biggest problem with that game was they spent all of this time and effort and money into getting like the economics right. But then you go to like a store to spend your money because it's the only place you can spend your money at the store. And like I can go down the road and kill a fucking street gang member and get stuff that's 20 times better than what they sell in the store. So it's like, well, why do I have money? Oh, I guess I could just buy cars.
Well, and the crafting system really pigeonholes you too. Because like if you wanted certain legendary guns, you had to like build into it like everything, and by the time you got to the point where you're able to build it, you were locked into that. You couldn't like reset your points or anything like that. So it was really rough.
Yeah.
I think though, walking back a little bit, one of the games I really can't play now, like Deus Ex, I can't go play any of its original games, and I have like the newest one. Like it looks so good, but I don't know anything about it. And it's just one of those series that you have to have a pretext to what's happened.
Oh.
It's definitely one of those that you have to get a full understanding of it. You have to go back and play the old original Deus Ex, which came out 2000, and everything that comes along with a game from 2000, like compatibility issues.
Well, and that's the other thing, is because you brought up Red Dead 1. Red Dead 1 suffers from that real bad. Like, you get used to playing Red Dead 2, and it just has all this improved stuff, and then you step backwards to go play Red Dead 1, and it sucks.
Yeah.
And I mean, it doesn't suck just a little. It sucks a lot.
Yeah.
Red Dead 1 really wasn't...
Mechanically, it wasn't the best, but it had thematically. It was I mean,
well, and then Red Dead Redemption 1 was good, but then you jump back to like the super old school and Red Dead Revolver.
It's not even connected. Like they don't even have
which is weird.
It's supposed to be like in the same universe, quote unquote, but like
it was just basically like a mechanic test bed at that point.
Wasn't that a PlayStation 2 game?
Yeah, PlayStation 1.
I
Oh,
think.
really?
Yeah.
I was never a Red Dead guy. Still,
I never
still
was.
not.
Gun was definitely
For the GameCube, yeah. I remember playing the hell out of that game.
It's still like
Xbox One.
like cowboys and Indians. I'm not in on Cowboy GTA. I can't.
I don't know what it is. I really like the.
I'm with you, man.
I really like it. Both of you, yeah. I mean, it's okay to have wrong opinions. So,
Look,
I'll watch Tombstone any day, though. That movie's fantastic.
There are two westerns that I like, and one is 310 to Yuma, and the other is Tombstone, and that's literally
If
it.
you don't like Tombstone, we can't be friends. Do you like Tombstone?
Movie day.
I feel like I
Have
can't
you
answer
never
that
seen?
question. I've
You've
never seen
Tombstone.
Movie day.
Yeah.
Oh God, it's
Tombstone
Kurt,
is
it's
the
Kurt
shit.
Russell's like best cowboy film ever, in my opinion.
Well, I guess I did like, what was that? The Quick, the Fast, and the Dead.
The
Quick, Fast, and Dead. Young Guns is also a really
Yeah.
good one with
Emilio Estevez.
yeah.
That is a great movie.
are you guys saying you didn't like Daniel Craig in Cowboys and Aliens? That was an absolutely great Western movie.
That movie was fun.
Yeah,
Look,
it was fun. It wasn't
yeah.
a Western, but it was a fun movie.
I would play Red Dead Redemption if it had aliens in it, but it doesn't, and so no.
It could.
It could. You
Yeah.
could
I
always
played
mod
I
it
played
in.
Fallout for aliens.
I think the best Western movie ever was Wild Wild West.
Break it in the Wild Wild West.
Wild Wild West is
I actually got through that with a straight face. It wasn't until afterwards when I laughed.
Yeah.
Wild Wild West is a great example of a campaign gone off the rails,
Yes.
like a D&D campaign.
Absolutely.
That just left.
He's a
that
giant,
left.
giant steampunk mecha spider.
I think no. Go even earlier than that.
Yeah.
Go even earlier than that. When the tank came out of the water, you were like, oh, that's where this is going.
Oh.
And then the chainsaw or the little
Yeah.
spinning saw blades. At that point when the mech spider came out, you're like,
Mm-hmm.
we've arrived at what I expected by this point.
Well, that's like, I saw that and I'm like, that's like a bunch of guys with engineering backgrounds got together and played D&D, and then they just started rolling really well, and then all of a sudden they have this giant mecha that they just roll over towns with.
Did the
Ooh.
series even like
It's
get
Deadlands.
that far? Do you
It is,
remember?
Yeah, the old,
Yeah.
like what was that in the
Yeah.
70s or
Yeah.
the 60s? I can't remember
it was.
which.
I think it was late '60s.
Yeah. I remember that it was same like Batman style, 60s Batman style like technology and stuff, but like in a Western. So like they had like a pen that would like shoot a gas that would knock people out. So like it never got to like Mecha Spider levels of things, but they had like odd, like really anachronistic technology, but nothing
Nothing like that.
nothing like that.
You would say that it's basically James Bond, but in the Wild West.
Yes.
Yeah, that's. Though my favorite of the
Wild
Wild West was they put that flashlight in that dude's head and spun it upside, and they had like little crank to crank it upside down so that they could see the
because
Oh
end.
my gosh, I forgot about that. That was dumb.
Last thing he ever saw.
It's burned into the back of his eyes. Oh God, fucking Will Smith.
It's been so long since I've seen that movie. Literally, all I remember is
It's better that way.
shoehorned Will Smith, something about a knife boot, and giant mecha spider.
Yeah, it's better that way.
Yeah. You
I
can
remember-
highlight all the good stuff. Let's keep it positive.
I remember Utah. That's like that one. I don't even know what accent that was supposed to be, but she was reading lips.
God, wasn't Johnny Depp in that movie?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
What one was
Actually,
it?
I wouldn't be surprised.
What one was it where
like
it
an
was
extra.
Johnny Depp and he played a fucking Indian?
Oh, that was the Lone Ranger.
That
the
was
Army
Ranger.
Hammer.
that was.
I didn't even see
By the
that
way, that
movie.
was Disney's Lone Ranger.
Yeah,
Talk about rough.
yeah, that was a rough movie.
I started that movie. I did not finish it
There is
because
another.
I was like I know
Not another Lone Ranger. There's another movie where,
I was
where
gonna
Johnny
say,
Depp plays a Native
super
American
cringy.
Indian, whatever.
Yeah.
He I can't remember what the name of the movie is. Really odd, like independent movie, but it's like he.
was gonna say it wasn't Desperado, was it?
No, I can't remember the name of
Desperado
the
was
movie.
a good
Actually,
movie, by the way.
yeah, that whole trilogy was great. Once Upon a Time in Mexico, Desperado, and what was the first one?
Ooh, oh man, what was that?
I don't remember.
El Mariachi?
El Mariachi.
Yeah, that was the
actually,
first one.
actually, El Mariachi was probably one of my favorites
El
because
Mariachi was Desperado. It was just...
No.
no,
Desperado's
Desperado's Desperado's the second movie in
Oh,
the series.
okay.
Because
So Once Upon a Time, have you seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? The
No,
newest
I
one?
need to watch
it's
that.
Fantastic.
I didn't even...
Well,
is
a
that
lot
part
of-
of the same series?
no,
No,
it's
just-
an alternate universe of the Bruce Lee and the filming
Right.
back in the 60s.
Oh, okay, okay.
And actually, that is speaking of that, it really made Bruce Lee's daughter like really pissed off because she was like, "It's not the way it's portrayed," but everybody was like, "Well, it's an alternate universe."
Yeah,
so,
it's just alternate. But it was such a good movie.
yeah. Also, the fact though is that it's like it was documented that everybody was kind of an asshole in Hollywood at that point. So, not surprised that some of that stuff might actually be true. Just
Yeah. Not
For
trying
legal reasons, alternate universe.
right. Well, alternate universe in that Quentin Tarantino directed this movie
Yeah.
the same way
Yeah.
that Inglorious Bastards was accurate. You know,
Yeah.
it's not.
It's Quentin
Probably.
Tarantino.
I
Not to
like
change the
Quentin
subject or
Tarantino.
anything, but you were talking about Deus Ex,
Yeah.
and it reminded me. Netflix just dropped a trailer the other day. They're doing a new Spriggan anime movie.
Yeah, I saw that.
Spriggan?
Yeah.
Spriggan.
Like yeah, original Spriggan.
I saw that and I was like, what the fuck? Awesome.
Well, I just wrapped up. I'm all caught up for My Hero Academia, which that show is just so good.
Mm-hmm.
Like just incredibly good. I need them to finish putting the English dubs on the other two
They'll
episodes
finish.
though, so I can watch them.
Well, I'm not sure that they're done.
No, they're not. But
So you'll get an episode a week.
yeah,
Welcome to non-binge town.
it's not the way I operate, man. I have to get through it all, and then if I have to
Yeah.
restart it, I need to actually go and finish Eden Zero, because that's actually a really good show too. It's
Yeah,
Fairy
that's a
Tale
good
in
one.
space, by the way. If you've watched Fairy Tale, highly recommend it. And then you can go watch Eden Zero and just relive the whole show again in space.
In space.
Yeah. Like all the same characters are they're literally, and James called it like right out of the gate. He's like, you're just gonna see every single character you've ever saw in Fairy Tale just copy pasted with futuristic abilities. It's like, okay,
Yep. When it works.
yep.
It's like, oh, okay, well.
Natsu doesn't have fire. He
why
has
kill
gravity
a good
powers
thing?
now.
Oh, okay, we're good.
Lucy's not a guild member. She's a VTuber.
Yeah.
Happy's a gun.
Sounds worse than it is.
It sounds
It's really good. It's just
Yeah. But other than that, anybody got anything else? It's a good stopping place.
yeah. I'm good with that. I mean, we can keep talking about cowboy antics and
No, I'm done talking about Cowboys.
I like Cowboys.
Anybody got anything else?
Caleb,
Why are you singling me out?
because you singled me out earlier.
Oh, that's fair.
You got anything else?
I'll save it for next time.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Reminder that on December 3rd will be the very first episode.
October.
October 3rd.
Good God.
You know, it's funny. You know,
The one
time.
who loves Federated
No,
Suns.
you know what's
Every
funny
time.
is that last time he said November 3rd. Now we're to December. Time has no meaning to
The
James.
next podcast,
next-
January
January
3rd.
guys.
It does not have any meaning. October 3rd will be the first episode of our tabletop RPG in Destiny.
Yeah.
By this time, you should have by the time you guys see this, you should have 2 episodes or 1 episode of us playing tabletop Destiny. We'll air the other one next Friday or next Sunday. Give myself a realistic timeline here. Probably next Sunday will be the next episode where I beat the living shit out of Cal.
Mm.
And then
Clap cheeks.
and then the following Sunday will be the very first episode of our tabletop. And then what I want to do is do the vodcast the Tuesday after we film our tabletop RPG games. So it'll be like RPG vodcast, then following Sunday will be a battle report. So kind of like just alternating between that, and then we'll have other things in there.
Yeah, we still need to get our rules cast in.
Yeah.
So that might be the topic of the next podcast, is kind of go over rules and adjustments that we've made to Destiny to make it a little bit more palatable.
That's actually a good idea, is to do it like in this form right here, where we can actually, here's what it is, here's the reason why, and
Yeah, we could talk about it too.
yeah, that'd be cool.
But
Quit staring at me.
before these two get into it, we're gonna call it a night, guys. We are out of ammo. We'll see you next time.